Hi, I'm Rachel. I'm a queer knitter, crafter, doer of many things, coming to you from my living room in Hamilton, Ontario. And I've never made a video like this before. This is my first time, but I thought it might be a fun motivator for getting motivated on my pile of half finished projects, knitting projects to be specific. And I've put them all, I don't know how much is in frame here necessarily, but they're all scattered around me, mostly in a basket, but a couple just out. So I'm going to start with the ones that are just out because those are going to be the easiest decisions to make. So first, let's start with this one. This is, look at this cute little Bagoo baby bag. I really like these for project bags. This is just a vanilla sock. So this I started, like I cast it on before I went on vacation earlier this summer and then worked on most of the sock while I was on vacation. I had another project while I was there, but I did also work on this. And then I kind of stopped for a little bit. And then yesterday I was going on a trip into Toronto. And so I wanted to bring a project with me for the train ride in. And this is where I started. This is how much I knit yesterday on the way there and back. So this is just a self-striping sock yarn. I forget the maker. It's just like a commercial yarn that I got from my local yarn store. And then the accent color, which goes so well, I think, is lang yellow. So super cute. And this I think is going to be a medium priority. I'd really like to get these done. But one thing is that I put them on tiny circulars, little 9-inch circulars, because I was a little nervous about, I usually use DPNs. I usually prefer metal DPNs. That's just my preferred small circumference needle. But I was concerned about going through the airport with a bunch of metal DPNs sticking out of my sock. So I put these on circular needles, but I don't love them. They're not my favorite. They do kind of hurt my hand if I work on them for too long, whereas I feel like DPNs kind of give a space for whatever this part of my hand is to rest on while I'm knitting. But I'm not going to switch needles now because I think that'll make a difference in the tension. So I'll just keep going. I don't mind having tiny circulars around. They do have their uses. Again, like going through the airport, I think they look less scary than a bunch of like pointy metal ends sticking out everywhere, but I need to take lots of breaks. So these are going to be medium priority. I'd like to have them done by the end of the year. I want more knit socks. So those are easy choice. Take a little sip of my iced latte. Okay, next up, let's talk about this for a second. I stopped right at the near to the end of a row. So maybe I'll just do that real fast. This is like a long-term ongoing blanket project. It is fingering weight yarn, so it will take forever. And the idea is that I'm going to make mitered squares and then seam them together, big mitered squares. So I'm going to knit until I get to 222 stitches on the needles, just because I find that a pleasing number. Once I get to that point, this is the first square. So once I get to that point, decrease, finish the square, measure it, and then I'll know how many squares I need for the whole blanket. I would ideally love it to cover my bed. I see this as a really lovely layering blanket for like transitional seasons. I have an attic room and it is very, very sensitive to temperature changes. So when it's hot up there. And when it's cold, it's really cold. So I like having lots of different like weights of blankets that I can pick and choose from depending on what it's like up there at night. So this is all fingering weight sock yarn scraps. So yeah, it's going to take forever, but I also don't feel in any kind of rush over it. That's the idea, is like it is a blanket. I'm aware it's a blanket. And this just lives up in my room. This is the first time I've taken it downstairs in like maybe ever. And what this little basket has in it is just, this actually doesn't belong in there, but it's just sock yarn scraps. Some of these are closer to full skeins than scraps, but just things I want to like push out of the stash. I'm trying to keep with a color palette. I think can kind of tell what's going on. So yeah, I think it's cute. This is low priority. I recognize this is going to take ages and ages, and that's fine by me. No problem. I am really looking forward to having this, but like it's a fingering weight blanket. Let's be real with ourselves here. I think these are US 6 needles. So yeah, fingering weight 4mm needles. I do really like the drape it has. Like I think that this is going to be, once it's ready, I think this is going to be really lovely in like early spring, late fall. Oop, got tangled around my water bottle. Okay, let's put it back. Let's put it back in. I work on this like right now. I'm also not working on it very much because, as I said, my room is really sensitive to temperature. It's really hot up there in the summer, and I have air conditioning in my home, but it doesn't go all the way up there. And so in the summer, I don't spend a lot of time hanging out in my room. The intention with this is that this is something that I work on when I want to hang out in my room, and I don't have to like bring other things, like schlep them up and down all of the stairs. If I just feel like sitting in my room and knitting on something, this is what that is. It's also really nice for like bedtime knitting, which I don't do a ton of, but if I want to do that, it's there. I'm just not really hanging out that much in my room right now because it's so hot up there. But once the temperature cools down, it's very cozy. So that's okay. And this next thing, also easy decision because this is a test knit. So this is high priority. High priority, I think it's due like mid-September. September 14th is the date that I have in my brain. And there's ends everywhere that haven't been woven in yet. Do not worry about it. This is the Muscle Tank by Maya Deglon. I'm making it in Lion Brand Kobu. I don't know what this color is called, but it's like the seafoam color. I clearly like this color. I have another tank top that's not too far from this in color. I'm making the size 5 and I'm knitting it at like a slightly tighter gauge than what the pattern recommends, but I do feel like once, like as soon as I block this, I'm going to be able to like stretch it. And I'd rather err on the side of knitting like a little bit too tight than knitting a little bit too loose, because especially this is like cotton and rayon from bamboo. So I think I'm pretty certain it's going to stretch out as I block it and also as I wear it. I think this is going to be really nice. I've never knit with this yarn before, and it's just like knitting with any other plant fiber yarn. Like it's stiff, especially this one because it has rayon. It's slippery. I kind of wish I wasn't using metal needles. I feel like this would be a more enjoyable experience if I was knitting on like some kind of wood needle, but we're here now. And again, I don't want to change needles in the middle of a project and have there be some kind of tension difference. Especially with this kind of yarn, it's so not forgiving to errors or just like little bits of tension difference. So I'm going to stick with it. Yeah, it's cool. I am on to the stockinette body. So I'm just like zooming on this now. And this is, yeah, definitely high priority. I also just want to be able to wear it before it cools down too much. Although it's really hot and I'm recording this on August 14th. I'm recording this mid-August and it's like 35 degrees with the humidex today. So I think it'll be hot for a while longer yet. Okay, moving on to the bin. This is slightly less of a doom bin than it was, but there is just a bit of yarn that is tangled. Okay, we'll deal with that later. This is another kind of honorable mention. There's more than this, but I couldn't find it. I felt like this was just enough representation of this project. This is a knit log cabin quilt square. I have 3 more finished ones, I think, and then I have this half finished one. I had this on the go last year, and then I got a shoulder injury last fall that really affected my ability to knit. It affected my whole arm. And so there were a bunch of things that I just kind of had to shove over to the side while I was dealing with that shoulder injury, this project included. And now I have some other scrappy projects on the go. To be real, I kind of forgot about this. So, you know, I'm going to get back to it, but this is going to be very low priority. I'm going to put this back in my closet and keep it in mind. I'm not going to frog these or anything because I do think that this will make a really lovely blanket at some point. These are all, once again, these are fingering weight sock yarn scraps, just like stuff that I wanted to move out of my stash. And I think this is really going to be like quite lovely when it's done. But for now, we are putting her back in the closet. So, low priority. Let's talk about this. Ooh, got another one coming for the ride. This is the flax sweater from Tin Can Knits. This is a free pattern. We know the flax sweater. We love the flax sweater. I'm not going to do the garter detail on the side just because I don't really dig it. And otherwise, just a plain old sweater. I'm knitting this in Lion Brand Fisherman's Wool in this like chocolate brown. I think it's called Chocolate Heather. I think this is lovely. It's kind of boring to knit on right now. I'm onto the stockinette body and I've got like a ways to go on it. So this is something that I'm also not that motivated to finish it because again, it is like 35 degrees today. This is going to be like a warm sweater when it's done. And we are absolutely nowhere near full on sweater season right now. So we'll finish it when we finish it. And I think once the weather cools down and I feel very motivated to have this as a garment, I think that's when I'm going to work a lot on it. I find myself very motivated by the idea of having the finished object. I do love the process of knitting, but especially when things become a slog, like this kind of is feeling right now, the thing that keeps me motivated is the thought that when I finish this, I will have just like a lovely workhorse chocolate brown sweater that will go with like every pair of pants that I have, that'll look good against so many different like colorful accessories that I own. Knitting in like one color of very plain yarn, and like I'm gonna be real with you, the fisherman's wool is fine, but it's like not the most beautiful yarn in the world. So I also don't have like that aspect where the yarn is just so beautiful and pleasurable to work with that keeps me going. Again, it's fine. It's very like I quite like it as a budget friendly yarn. Like this, you get this giant amount of it, and I think it's like $15 or something like that where I get it. It's very affordable. They always have like pretty big quantities of it. I bought 3 of these for this project, and I think I'm going to have like plenty left. I don't know what I'm going to do with it yet. We'll have to see. So this is medium priority. I'd like to get it done and like soonish, but I don't know. It's just when I'm thinking of prioritizing, like high priority means I want to get it done in the next couple of months. That's not happening with this. I do think I might actually bring this. I'm going to a craft night tonight though, and I think that this might be perfect to bring with me. I was going to bring the sock that I'm working on, but I think that I should bring something different in case my hands get tired. So I'm just going to put that in here right now. Oh, and I have, just for kicks, I have these cute little ice cream cone needle stoppers that I bought when I was on vacation in St. John's. I just think they're cute and they're a fun souvenir. And there's something about it that works with the chocolate brand sweater. I'm going to put those in my bag for later. This is what I'm going to bring to the craft night. I'm going to grab a sip of coffee. I'm disappointed. I wanted to go to the store and grab tonic water so I could have an espresso tonic, but the convenience store near me didn't have tonic water, and just like looking at my day, I don't want to go to the big grocery store. So I decided against it. I'm having an iced vanilla latte instead. It's fine. We're good. Ooh, I forgot to say, because it wasn't in there with the muscle tank. So I'm knitting the body, and I just found this in my whip basket. I'm knitting the body in this seafoam green, but then I'm going to do an I-cord border in this like darker blue. I just think it's cute. And I had both of these in stash when the test was called, so perfect. Okay, on to the next one. Let's do this. Let's do this. This is nothing really. This is the beginning of a swatch, and boy oh boy do I not enjoy making swatches like this. But it's for a good cause, so that I can get actually proper gauge measurements for this thing that I'm potentially going to do. So this is a swatch, the beginning of one for another test, the Sweaty Season Sweater by Stockinette Bitch, Ava something. And this is in the Queensland United. It's like 50-50 wool and cotton. I'm not certain if it's going to work for this, but I would really love to make it work, because this, I love a wool and cotton blend. I have a sweater that I made from Mungo by Rosa Pomar, and it's so lovely. It's so wearable because it's a cotton blend. I don't overheat in it, and this is like more of a sport weight even. I picked this up from Lens Mill a little while ago with the intention of swatching with it, because I wasn't sure what I wanted to make with it, but I knew that I wanted to make something. And then this tester call came up, so I am finally swatching with it. I am doing a proper swatch in the round and everything. All of these ends stress me the fuck out, but looks so cute. I've barely done the swatch. I need to get rolling. Hi, Martha. I don't know if my dog is in the frame, but she woke up from her nap and is wandering around. Hey, girl. Here. Hi, sweetie. Hi. This is Martha. She's my senior dog. She's perfect. Hi. So yeah, I would really like to make this work. We'll see. But this is high priority. If I don't get gauge on this, I'm just going to get the yarn that Stockinette Bitch uses in her sample, which was Peer Gynt. I've never used it before. It seems fine. Like, it seems totally good. But I would really love to make it work in this wool and cotton blend, because also, like, I'm not wearing wool in any season that we are referring to as sweaty. I wanted to wear like one piece of knitwear for this video, so I had a cute little bandana on, but I couldn't have it next to my skin. It's like that today, and it's just like a fingering weight sock yarn bandana. This is the opposite of a fingering weight sock yarn bandana. This is a scarf. Just a moss stitch scarf, rectangle scarf, nothing fancy. Wait, I can never get it straight. Moss stitch and seed stitch, literally what is the difference? I know that one is a 2-stitch repeat, one's a 4-stitch repeat. This is the 2-stitch repeat. It's a K1P1, and then it's an odd number of stitches. So when you get to the second row, you're purling into the knits and knitting into the purls. It's that one. It's whatever that one is. And this is to replace a different scarf that I had that looked almost identical to this, but it was like 2 inches wider. And I made it when I was like pretty much like not brand new to knitting, but I hadn't knit a lot of things yet. And it was too big. This wool is so warm. This is Cascade Magnum Super Bulky. It is like I think it's like a roving wool. Is that right? I don't know. It's lovely. It's a single ply and it's very, very soft. And I do really like the way it knits up, and I've used it for other things before, but like universally, this is so warm. And what I found with the other scarf that I made that was much wider than this is that it was like wearing a blanket, and not in a good way. It was kind of heavy, it was really heavy, and it was like kind of too warm sometimes, which it can get pretty cold here. So that's saying something. And it was also like kind of hard to take with me because I don't have a car. I'm mainly a public transit user. So it's not like I could just like shove it in my bag, like just in case I needed a scarf later or something like that. I really had to think about when I was wearing it. So this is to replace it. It's going to be like chunky color block, bright colors. I have a few more colors of this yarn. Oh, I did actually bring them down, but I should probably put them in a Ziploc bag. But anyway, these, I ripped them out from my other scarf, and I need to I should probably skein these up and soak them, whatever. But yeah, so cute. These are my next ones. I have more upstairs. Whoa, I'm throwing them. Okay. Did I say a priority for this? I don't think I did. I'm going to call this medium, because I really do have to be in the right mood to knit on something like this. It's knit on like US 13s or 15s. Yeah, 9mm needles, so US 13. And, you know, I have all of this like super bulky yarn from when I first started knitting because I thought it would be like easier to learn on, and B, like super bulky yarn was really having a moment, I think, when I started knitting. I think it was like going through a trend cycle or something. I don't know. I started knitting in like 2018, 2019, I think. Yeah. So I don't know. People who have been like in it knitting wise longer than me, was that like a big deal like 5 years ago? Am I right on that? Or was it just like confirmation bias because that was what I was looking at with super bulky patterns? Anyway, I don't really knit with super bulky anymore. It's not my favorite. I actually wouldn't really suggest that a beginner knit with super bulky either. I really do think that worsted is the sweet spot personally, because also it's just super bulky yarn is really expensive, like more so than other yarns, I feel like. Okay, this is where things are starting to get tangly. I need another sip of coffee. Okay. This is another scrappy project. Oh, geez Louise. Oh, you are tangling. Oh boy. Okay. I'm going to pretend that that's not happening, and so are you. This is a Gushy Garter Vest. Gushy Garter Vest by Park Williams. So another scrappy project. This will be a vest. These are sock yarn scraps held together. And I think I stopped this just because I needed to build up some more scraps, but I went hunting in my stash and I found a couple of mini skeins. So these are the scraps that I'm using. I found a couple of mini skeins that I pulled out of stash that I'll wind up to use with this, that I think are gonna tie some things together. So this is just me holding random sock yarns together, and sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't, because I think that is like how these scrappy projects usually end up. Like, I do think you have to trust the process a little bit. This amount of tangles is like a little bit of my nightmare, so I'm just gonna shove these all back in and pretend like that's not happening. I think this is a low priority. I'd like to build up a few more scraps. I'd like to get some other stuff out of the way before I work on this. This isn't really like a garment that I super need. I just think it would be fun to have. But I don't think it's also going to be like quite so versatile a garment as, like, say, a plain chocolate brown sweater. And next up, we're not frogging much, huh? Okay, next, let's talk about this. This is fun. This is a glove that I started. Oop, and I only got one finger done. And the reason that I stopped is because of my shoulder injury. So I obviously had to stop knitting on like really fine gauge projects like this, which is a shame because this yarn is so loud and I love it. This was like some discontinued Lion brand sock yarn that I got from Lens Mill. And I just think it's fun. I think it would be fun to have a really loud glove like this. I mean, it's not going to be a full glove because like the finger only goes up to there. I'm not getting it closed, which is my preference, but I like having my fingies free. So I had to stop this because of my aforementioned shoulder injury. And then, like, I think we can all understand losing steam on making a glove. And I have not worked up the courage to get started on it, but I'm not going to frog this. I'm going to keep working on this, but I'm going to call it low priority. I have a feeling that like in the middle of winter, when I want more color in my wardrobe, this is going to be the thing. Because I do love to have colorful winter accessories. You know, can you tell? So this is a low priority, but definitely going to work on this. I would like to get this done by the end of next year. Okay, let's root around. What do I want to talk about next? Ooh, let's talk about this next. This is the So Summer shirt by Jessie May. So cute. This is made out of sock yarns that I got from the Fiber Forge, which is a like yarn festival at the Cotton Factory here in Hamilton. And so most of these are from a sock set by Piper's Yarns. Or no, not a sock set, a shawl set, I should say. They are sock yarns, but it was a shawl set for like some Stephen West shawl, I think. And it was the gift to the volunteers. I often volunteer at the festival. Each vendor donates like something from their booth, and the volunteers get to choose from like a big bag of stuff. So I chose a shawl set, which was one full skein and like 4 or maybe even 5 mini skeins of just like lovely, brightly colored tonals. So that's where all of the tonals in this come from. And then the speckle yarn is Hedgehog Fibers Twist Sock. I don't remember the color name. It's fine, don't worry about it. And then I finished the body so long ago. It's way too short, for one thing. This is my first time ever making something from the bottom up. And I didn't, like, this is clearly way too short for me. When I put it on, it like comes to like just here, which I don't mind a little bit of crop, but that's just too much crop. So I'm going to go back in and add ribbed hem for a couple of inches. And then I went in and did the cuff yesterday. 2 days ago. I knit the body of this like 2 years ago. And then I kind of had to stop because I couldn't decide on the color that I wanted to do the collar, cuffs, and hem in. This is way too short. I definitely need to add a ribbed hem at the bottom for at least a couple inches. But I think that'll look really cute, and I think it'll tie the whole thing together. I couldn't decide on the color. Then I got the color. It's this lovely, sort of like a, what would you call this? It's like a variegated tonal, kind of. Like it's variegated, but all of the colors are pretty, like they're in the same color family for sure. But I wouldn't call it a tonal. Is there a name for this? Anyway, it's really cute. Very sweet. I'm looking forward to having this. It's called a So Summer shirt, but I actually think that for me, made out of wool, this is going to get a lot more wear in like the fall, like this under like a cute denim jacket situation with jeans or something. Adorable. I think it'll be so good. So I lost motivation on this because truly, I could not figure out what size needle I wanted to use for the ribbing. And when I realized, I think I just needed to use like a size 1, I got a little bit demoralized because I was just like, do I really have to do this on a size 1? The answer is yes. Like the cuff looks so good. I do wish I would learn a stretchier bind off, but that time will come later. I really just want to get this thing done. I'm going to call this a high priority. I would really like to be able to wear this fall. I don't expect to want to wear a wool shirt, even if it's fingering weight, like even anytime in September. So maybe I would like to have this done like by October. Really, this cuff only took me a couple days. I think I did like 20 rounds. It's really not that much knitting. I just want it off my needles. Okay. Rooting around near the end of the bin. Okay. I don't know how this has happened, but we're going to be careful with this one. So this is a sock. This is a sock made out of the same Hedgehog Fibers sock yarn, twist sock. And it has this like safety orange cuff and toe. So this is a full finished sock. This is the other sock. I had finished this sock as well. And then I realized that this one, I knit an orange toe. This one I hadn't. So I ripped the toe out of this, intended to re-knit it, and then I have since misplaced the orange yarn. I guess know it's a low priority. It hasn't gone anywhere. To find these certainly haven't given it away. And I haven't really used it for anything else except for my scrap blanket because this is like not a color that makes its way into my everyday rotation. But I think like look how close to the end of the bin. I don't think that this is a color that like does anything for me. So to be careful with. Once I found it and maybe I'll do this one, the rest is just going to go into my scrap blanket. Get something else. Ooh, this really became a tangle. How did this get so tangled? Okay, let's do, oh boy. Let's do this. This is another sad sock related story. Another missing needles. So this is another story where I made one sock. So cute. I got both of these yarns from the Fiber Forge once again earlier this year. And this yarn particularly, I don't remember. It's fine that I don't remember the dyer because I am going to talk shit about it a little bit. This was a fundraising yarn with partial proceeds going towards the Hamilton Trans Health Coalition, and it was the colors of the pride flag. So, I think it was like dip dyed. So one end of the yarn was pink, the middle was white, the outside, and then the other end was blue. And so on this sock, it created this cute, like somewhat striped situation. And I thought, oh, how lovely. And then this side, this sock, this happened. And I really can't get over it. I feel like it looks like a bruise. Like that is what I think every time I look at it. And for a little while, I thought, it's fine. I'm just going to finish this sock and live with it. Because I started realizing what was happening, like, around here. And then it just kept on going. And then I thought, well, maybe I'll try. I think I tried to like take it out and like get to a different place in the ball of yarn. I don't have a yarn winder, so all of my yarn is hand wound in balls. But anyway, so I tried to get to a different point in the yarn, and like it's still doing it. This is going to get frogged. I'm just taking the needles out. Oop, there goes the stitch markers. Whoops. This is going to get frogged, and I think honestly this yarn is just going to go to my scrap blanket. I don't know, like it's a shame because this is like a $30 skein of indie dyed yarn, and I really wanted to love what I was making with it, but like I don't know, I'm bummed by these socks, and I think I will enjoy it more if I just put it in my blanket. So I don't know if anybody has any like resources that they want to point me to, or like tips and tricks and advice about how to manage color pooling like this. If the answer is simply don't buy yarn with certain kinds of like dye pattern, I don't know. I don't know. It's a real shame. So I'm going to make a separate little pile right over here. That's for frog stuff, or stuff to frog rather. It's right there. I'm going to take another sip of water. Coffee. This is coffee. This is water. Taking lots of sips of this. Very few sips of this. That's okay. Can I get at this now? Yes. Next up is this mitten set. Cute little mitten set. And there's kind of no good reason. Actually, no, that's not true. There's a very good reason that these aren't finished. So this, it's inside out. But this is the berry. No, what's it called? World's Simplest Mitten by Tin Can Knits. I really love this mitten pattern because it's for a bunch of different yarn weights, and it is very simple. It's very, very easy. I have another pair of mittens in same yarn, but like a chocolate brown, and I thought, ooh, I want to make another pair, and this like cute purple. This yarn is it's like Lamb's Pride worsted. I got it from a Buy Nothing pickup. I got it from my local Buy Nothing group. Somebody had, like, they had inherited somebody's stash of yarn who used to own a yarn store, I think. So they had a ton of really nice yarn. I picked out a few things. There was a limit on how much to take so that they could spread it out evenly. So I could have really rated it, but I was polite and I grabbed a couple skeins of this, and it's just so cute. But I got really fixated on these mittens, and look, this one is like, it was basically done and I just needed to sew up the top, but I got so fixated on these mittens that I aggravated my shoulder injury and started giving myself some carpal tunnel symptoms. I don't think I have carpal tunnel, but I think I was just giving myself, I don't know. something was going on in my arm and my shoulders, and it was not good. And I had to put these aside, and then they kind of became like, this is the thing that hurt me a little bit, even though I was the thing that hurt me. I could tell, I remember I could tell that I was starting to be in pain, but I was so hyper fixated on these. I just wanted to finish them. And I did basically get to that point, like I just needed to sew up the top of this and then do the thumbs, but I couldn't. So these are going to be high priority because they will take very little work to then become a usable pair of mittens. There isn't really a rhyme or reason to any of these piles that I'm making except for the pile of things to frog. Okay, this is getting into a tangly mess of yarn down here. It's because I threw in that super bulky, I feel like. It just wants to grab onto everything. I really should put it in some Ziploc bags. But I was moving stuff around between here and my office where I keep my stash, like the main part of it. And so I kind of just threw it in this basket. But now things are getting really wild. Okay. Here we are. I wonder how much of just like me fussing with strings of yarn I'm going to edit out of this. This is some more fingering weight sock stuff. So this is based on a free pattern from the Knit Cafe, which is in Toronto. I've never been there, but it is a local yarn store in Toronto. I'll check it out sometime, I'm sure. So this is the 504 King West. This is, once again, in fingering weight sock yarn. So it's going to be a really light shawl, scarf, somewhere between. It's an asymmetrical triangle. And I'm not following the pattern exactly. I've made a couple modifications. I'm using, they call for a yarn over at the beginning of the increase row, and I didn't like it. I didn't like the way that it looked, so I'm just using a knit front and back. Doesn't super matter, but anyway, this is really fun to work on. This is a really good like mindless knit project, and I did cast this on like kind of impulsively. So I'm going to set it to the side for now. I'm going to say right away that this is a medium priority project because I think I would really like to have this in the fall, but I don't need it. I have other scarves, bandanas, things that can sort of serve the same function as this thing, but I just think it would be fun. I think this would look so cute. Like I have this light wash croppy denim jacket, and I think that would look so cute with this. This is a lovely like bright yellow yarn from a mini that I got from, I think it's Feisty Fibers. This was, once again, I got this at the Fiber Forge. And then this is from Windswept Yarn and Fibers, which is located in St. John's. So I got this while I was on vacation, and that's really like the reason I wanted to cast this on is I just wanted to use some of my vacation yarn. And this is this colorway is called George Street, which is one of the main streets in St. John's. And I really loved it because, and I'm like sure this is part of the color scheme and why it is this way, but I loved it because all of the colors in here reminded me of the beautiful jelly bean houses that you see in St. John's. Some of them are like garish in the best way possible, and it's so bright and cheerful and just like fun to walk along the streets and see all the different combinations. And it's like not one particular street that has them, they're everywhere. So that's what these colors reminded me of. And it reminds me of a lovely trip that I took with my partner to Newfoundland, which I can't wait to go back. I fell in love with Newfoundland. I already loved my partner very much. We're getting to like a tangly place, and I'm going to stop messing around because honestly, we don't have that much left to talk about. So this is the start of a Frame Your Face cowl by Andrea Mowry. This is me practicing color work because I've done very little color work in my time as a knitter. I find it a little bit intimidating for multiple reasons. One of them just like being the yarn management of using two yarns at once. Switching colors is a little bit of a challenge. Honestly, right now, I'm just dropping one, picking up the other. That's just what I'm doing. That's what we're doing. It's fine. I'll learn some better techniques later. And something that I really like about this is a way to figure out color work is that the inside, like you're never going to see this because you knit this as like a long tube and then you join the ends and like seam them up. So you're never going to see the inside of this. And it's also going to be really warm. So for this, I'm using two different variegated yarns, which I realize like might be a bold choice. And it is like up close, it is a little busy, but I do think that it reads pretty well from far away. And I kind of like the way that like in some combinations, it's like a higher contrast, but then in some combinations, it's a much lower contrast. And, you know, once I have all of the whole thing done, I think that that'll create a really lovely movement throughout the piece. That's what I'm hoping anyway. The yarns they're worsted weight, both of them, and they are both from Dyers. I'm just going to pretend like this tangle isn't here. Again, I'm going to deal with it, but just like not right now. So this one is from Lichen and Lace. I forget what the colorway name is, and I'm going to be honest, I don't know what I was thinking when I ordered this because this does not do anything for my complexion. I ordered it with another yarn. It was like a lime green, bright yellow, very flashy yarn. You can see little bits of it, of the same color in this one. But yeah, this like pale pink, like truly doesn't do anything for me. So I kind of hemmed and hawed about what I was going to do with this because I only had one skein. And then I picked up this yarn from, once again, from the Fiber Forge. And this is from the Lab Fibers. I think this colorway is called Enchanted Forest. And I do think these look really nice together. And yeah, they have parts where like they're a bit similar, but they have other parts where they contrast pretty heavily. And I just think it's going to be nice. I'm really enjoying making this. I don't think I'm going to make the whole sweater ever. It's a little bit busy for me, but I think busy cowl is like kind of fun. I'm going to call this one I'm going to call this one low priority because I've stopped at a really good point that'll be very, very easy to pick it back up. I did one repeat of the chart, put in a lifeline, and then I set it to the side. So I think I'll be in a good place to pick it back up when I have some of these other things cleared out. And I do think that once I get going on it, it's going to be very potato chippy. I think I'm really going to just like want to keep on doing it. So this is going to go into the low priority zone. And ooh, I only have one more thing to talk about, which is, once again, this is the world's simplest mitten. And I think that this one is going to be frogged. This one I was making more as like a hand warmer. This is out of two different stock yarn scraps. And I don't remember what needle size I was making these on. I really don't. I only have one. I don't know. Should I just make the other one? Like, it is kind of cute, and I think it would go with my winter stuff. Fuck it. I truly do not remember what I was using to make this, which is very frustrating. I don't know. I can't decide. Now that I have this on, I was pretty certain I was going to frog this, but now that I have this on, I think that this would be so useful. And I do kind of like the way that I knit this cuff super long, but I can also like fold it up so that, because sometimes in the winter, I don't know, if you live somewhere where it gets really cold, if it's super cold, what I like to do is have a longer cuff that I can tuck under my coat sleeve. But then if it's like not so cold out and I just like need a little something on my hands, like this is cool too. I'm gonna frog this because I made it so long ago. I don't remember what needle size I used. I don't remember any details about this. And these knit up so fast, I could just do it again. And like with a different yarn, because I'm also not crazy about like it's fine. I don't know. It doesn't feel awesome to like undo work that you did, but at the same time, just like knowing how long this has sat around. Listen, look, just doing it right now. Just gonna do it right now. I made the decision. I already started unraveling it. No flip flopping. This is gonna be annoying to pick back up and recast off. So this goes in the frog pile. And that's the end of the bin. The only things left in there are like little bits of yarn that I'm going to clean up. So thank you so much if you made it all the way to the end of this. I don't know what I'm going to make another video, but this is kind of fun. It's kind of fun to talk to the camera. I really like talking about knitting and crafting and like making things with my hands. Once again, my name is Rachel. I use they, them pronouns. And if you want to find me elsewhere on the internet, I'm on Instagram. It's my name with an underscore on either side. And you can also find me in real life in various places if you know where to look. Okay, I think that's it for me. I hope you have a good rest of your day or whatever. And I'll see you in the next one. Bye.